Okay, we'll skip it. So basically, how far, right along with the whole program of the night about how far electric water heating has come from a standard, which kind of the one on the left there, even though now we have units that have Wi-Fi connectivity and leak sensing and things like that. That's what that's showing. But the standard 2-element electric water heater in a home to a Marathon electric water heater, which is also 2 elements, but much more efficient. And you start talking about lifetime warranties because it has a plastic tank. Can you go one more slide? One more. Sorry. One more. So you start looking at the cutaway here. The big advantage of Marathons and where we've seen a big growth in these is larger volume. Because April of 2015, the National Energy Conservation Act, Appliance Conservation Act that everybody has seen. You've seen refrigerators get more efficient, all the way to microwave ovens, washers and dryers. Well, they also affected water heaters. And what the government did at that time was take away any water heaters 55 gallons and above. So the industry's kind of figured out some ways around that. We've done it with basically using a light-duty commercial for residential use. The big advantage with this Marathon is like I said, it's a lifetime warranty heater. It's also, going back to geothermal. The geothermal people use that heater all the time because it's the most efficient heat loss-wise. You see how much foam there is on that heater all the way around the tank. You only lose 2 degrees in 24 hours when it doesn't run. So if you don't use any hot water of it, it's essentially a thermos. It'll go a week without turning back on if you leave for vacation and things like that. So that's the big advantage of that Marathon heater. And also in the country where people complain of rotten egg odors from anode rod reacting with bacteria in the water, those kinds of things. There's no anode rod in this heater either. So it's a good unit to use that way too, where people are concerned about their well water and things like that. But the main, go ahead, go one more. Now just play this. This is just going to show. So we got a couple quick videos here. This should show a Marathon, I believe.
Rheem Marathon electric water heaters. Built for a lifetime from the inside out.
Sorry.
The inner tank is a single polybutane mold, so it won't rust.
It's fine. So we're going full screen. Thanks, Brian.
Rheem Marathon electric water heaters. Built for a lifetime from the inside out. The inner tank is a seamless polybutane mold, so it won't rust or corrode. With 2.5 inches of foam insulation, these units are exceptionally efficient. And now that Rheem offers a grid-enabled option, energy savings can be even higher. These lightweight but extremely durable water heaters resist dents and scratches. Plus, with a free lifetime warranty upgrade upon registration, Marathon is the last water heater homeowners will ever need. Learn more at Rheem.com.
And that's our thing too, and you'll see this in the next one too. We've done a lot more, Rheem.com. We also have a portal, myrheem.com. If you don't have a MyRheem account, especially contractors, a lot of great information on there. We have a full marketing program now where you can get discounts on your trucks. We can help you with websites and all kinds of things. Sorry, it starts up again. That's all right. And now we'll talk about really what the most efficient electric water heater, kind of newer to the market, is the heat pump water heaters, as mentioned by some of the other people too. So essentially now we are on to the 4th generation in a very short period of time of heat pump water heaters. The original heat pump water heaters, people complained about noise, right? If you've had an electric water heater your whole life, and you put in a heat pump water heater, all of a sudden it's making noise. And I don't want to say they were loud, because if you've ever had a gas power vent water heater in your house, they're quieter than a gas power vent. But again, the electric water heater that was in the house didn't make any noise to the homeowner. Now you put a heat pump in there that has a fan and it makes noise. Now we're to the 4th generation, and we're down to 49 decibels, which is just as quiet or quieter than all the new modern refrigerators. The other big advantage with the new ones are obviously Wi-Fi connectivity, so people can get health alerts, and kind of tells you how the heater's doing. There's leak detection on these now, the big thing that we came up with in this 4th generation is being able to duct it, which was a problem in our area in the Midwest with basements. We're putting these in basements, and now we're taking heat out of the air in the basement, whether it was conditioned or unconditioned, and cooling that. And the people that had heat pumps originally, probably about a 10-foot radius around that, you could tell 5, 6, 7 degrees cooler than the rest of the room. Well, now by being able to duct it, so we can duct that cool air away, outside, away from the house, or to some other part of the house that you might want that cooling. What a lot of guys are doing, and they also dehumidify basements too. You don't need a dehumidifier anymore. That's another advantage of the heat pumps for us in the Midwest. So those are kind of the key things. Being able to duct it away, or in a ranch or something like that, being able to take the hot, humid air out of the attic and use that for the intake air instead of drawing it from the room also. It's just air, so it's not combustion. You just use dryer duct. It's not that big of a deal. And you can do it either way. You can draw air in and exhaust it in the room. You can draw air from the room and exhaust it out, or you can do both ways. So there's another video here on a heat pump, and I think this is probably the best video I've ever seen explaining how this heater works.
Introducing the new Rheem hybrid electric water heater. With an energy factor of 3.5, this is the smartest and most efficient water heater on the market today. It saves homeowners an estimated $4,000 in operating costs. It's also packed with smart features like leak detection, which could prevent more than $4,000 in costly water damage repairs. And it's the quietest hybrid on the market at 49 decibels. Plus, our newest hybrid design is EcoNet enabled, providing Wi-Fi connected control both at home and away. Here's how it works. A fan pulls air through the upper enclosure of the heat pump. The air passes through a filter to remove any debris or dust. Heat in the air is absorbed by eco-friendly refrigerant inside the evaporator coil, and cool, dehumidified air is exhausted. Refrigerant is pumped by a compressor through the refrigerant system. The compressor increases the temperature of the refrigerant, which is delivered to the condenser. The condenser tubing is wrapped around the water heater tank, where heat is transferred from the refrigerant to the water. All functions are controlled simultaneously by an advanced control. In Energy Saver mode, the heat pump and electric heat operation is utilized to optimize efficiency based on hot water use. In High Demand mode, the heat pump and electric heat operation is utilized to optimize hot water delivery. In Electric mode, the heat pump is disabled and the appliance operates like a standard electric water heater. In Heat Pump mode, the water is exhausted exclusively by the heat pump operation. In Vacation mode, the water heater maintains 65-degree water for up to 28 days. The condensate drain connection routes the condensation created during the water heating process away from the unit. The built-in condensate management system will shut down the compressor if it senses water outside. This helps prevent damage and will send an alert if the condensate drain needs to be cleaned. A water sensor cable is also included. If water is detected in the drain pan, the unit emits an audible alarm and sends an alert to the homeowner's phone through the EcoNet app, avoiding a potentially costly leak. The electric elements are accessible on the front of the unit in an upper and lower location. The Rheem hybrid electric water heater installs as easily as a standard electric water heater. It also provides more hot water than most electric units and delivers it faster. Rheem's new hybrid electric water heaters. Savings, peace of mind, and convenience from the start.
Okay, go back. So that's essentially what we're talking about now. And so for the contractors, I know we've had a lot of contractors that it's a heat pump, I don't work on heat pumps, that kind of thing. You never have, it's a water heater. The only thing you'll ever change is the elements and the thermostats. And we're talking about versus energy savings and things like that. So versus standard electric water heater, essentially this heater pays for itself in about a year and a half. The extra cost is paid for, and you can obviously continue to save it over the life of the unit. You start looking at yellow energy guides on the heaters and things like that. A standard electric 50-gallon is about $555 a year now to run for an average family. This is about $180. It's that low. 3.7, so for every dollar of energy you put in, you get $3.70 back. It's really, we need to put more of them in. We're getting there, I guess, in the Midwest. And really what's been driving these in most of the markets is rebates. And Diana's going to talk at the end, and I'll let her tell you what that rebate's going to be after the first year in this area. But we start getting the $400 or $500 rebates, all of a sudden it's something to look at. When they were $150 and $200, a lot of homeowners didn't want, because obviously this is going to be a $2,000 or $3,000 install versus something that's $800 or $900, a standard electric heater. But like, again, that difference, it pays for itself. So that's pretty much all I had. I'd get you back on track that way. All right, and we're going to be here, so if you want to ask any questions about the heat pump, we left the binders there. That information's in there too.